There is a reason the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest. The man who has to tell you he is winning is usually losing. We live in a world of sheriffs. Think about it. A sheriff needs a shiny badge so everyone knows who he is. He rides with a posse because he needs backup. And before he does anything, he announces his plans to the whole town. This is exactly how you are living. You announce your goals before you even start. You tell your friends, I'm going to start a business. You post about the hustle. You seek validation like a sheriff seeks a vote. But there is a problem with being loud. When you make noise, the target hears you coming and it escapes. That is why you are frustrated. You are chasing goals that keep running away from you because you are telegraphing your moves. To win, you must trade the badge for the rifle. You need to become a hunter. A bounty hunter didn't wear a badge. He didn't ride with a posse. He rode alone. He didn't announce the hunt. He simply vanished into the high country and didn't come back until the job was done. And there is a reason the hunter was more dangerous than the sheriff. It wasn't just a style choice, it was the law. In 1873, the Supreme Court made a ruling in a case called Taylor versus Taintor. It gave bounty hunters a terrifying level of authority that even the police didn't have. See, a sheriff had limits. If an outlaw crossed the state line, the sheriff had to stop. His power ended at the border. He was trapped by the rules of his jurisdiction. But the court ruled that a hunter was different. A hunter could cross state lines. He could break down doors. He could pursue his target anywhere, by any means necessary. He answered to no one but the contract. If you want to change your life, you need that kind of authority. Right now, you are stopped at the border. You stop when things get uncomfortable. You stop when your friends question you. You stop when the social rules say you are going too far. You are living within a jurisdiction that is too small for your ambition. Today, I'm going to teach you the 6-month protocol. This is not a productivity hack. This is a decision to go dark, to enter what the internet calls ghost mode, but what we call the hunt. For the next 180 days, you are going to stop performing. You are going to disappear from the world of noise. You are going to cross the border. You are going to ride alone. Why did the hunter ride alone? It wasn't because he was antisocial. It wasn't because he hated people. It was simple economics. In the Old West, a dead or alive contract had a fixed price. If the bounty was $500, that was it. If you brought a partner, you lost 50% of the gold. If you brought a posse, you starved. The hunter worked alone because he refused to split the reward. You need to look at your energy the same way. Every time you involve other people in your goals, you are splitting your gold. You are spending your limited energy managing their opinions, answering their doubts, and explaining your plan. You think you are building a support system. You aren't. You are paying a tax on your own focus. But the cost of talking is higher than just wasted time. It is a biological fuel leak. Your brain is running a scam on you. When you tell people, I am going to lose 20 pounds, you feel good. You feel a rush. That is dopamine. It is the exact same chemical you get when you actually achieve the goal. But you haven't done anything yet. You are tricking your nervous system. You get the reward feeling before you have done a single minute of work. And because you already feel satisfied, the hunger to actually do the work dies. You are cashing the check before you catch the outlaw. Think of your motivation like a steam engine. To move a heavy train, you need to build up massive pressure inside the boiler. If you keep the valves closed, The pressure builds and builds until it forces the wheels to turn. But talking opens the valve. Every time you post about your grind, you are letting the steam out. You feel relief, you feel understood, but the pressure drops and the engine sits still. You are venting the very thing you need to drive you forward. In the 1800s, there was another danger to being loud: the telegraph. Before the wire, news traveled at the speed of a horse, but the telegraph changed the game. If a hunter bragged in a saloon, the news hit the wire instantly. The outlaw knew he was coming before the hunter even saddled up. Today, social media is the telegraph. When you announce your moves, you are handing the enemy a map to your location. And your enemies are not just other people. Your enemies are doubt, distraction, and the pressure of expectation. By telling the world what you are doing, you give them the power to watch you fail. So, the first step of the protocol is a gag order. You're going to stop leaking fuel. You're going to close the valve. You are going to let the pressure build inside you until the only way to release it is to work. Walk into a sheriff's office in the Old West and you would see a wall covered in wanted posters. 50 different faces, 50 different rewards. This wall is a trap. The amateur tracker looks at the wall and tries to memorize every face. He wants the gold from all of them. He rides out scanning the crowd for anyone. And because he is looking for everyone, he catches no one. The hunter operates differently. He walks up to the wall, he rips one poster down, and then he ignores the rest. He memorizes the scar on the chin. He learns the limp in the walk. He becomes obsessed with one target. He rides past other outlaws without even turning his head because they are not the contract. He knows that to catch the big bounty, he must be blind to everything else. You are failing because you are looking at the whole wall. You want the $1 million business, the six-pack abs, the perfect dating life, and the high rank in the video game. You are fracturing your own mind. Science has a name for this. It is called attention residue. Sophie Leroy from the University of Minnesota found that when you switch tasks, your brain doesn't switch with you. A part of your focus stays stuck on the last thing you did. It takes 23 minutes to repair that focus. Think about the math. If you check your phone, then answer an email, then try to work, you are constantly resetting your brain to zero. You are never actually focused. You are effectively drunk on distraction. So, step 2 of the protocol is the burning ritual. For the next 6 months, you are allowed one major bounty. You have to choose. Is it the money or is it the muscle? You cannot hunt 2 apex predators at the same time. Pick the one goal that will change your life the most. Take that mental poster off the wall, and then, in your mind, burn the other 49. They do not exist for the next 180 days. This sounds extreme. It is. But remember the economics of the West. The government didn't pay for effort. They didn't pay for almost. The contract said dead or alive. They paid for the body. The world today works the same way. It doesn't care how busy you were. It doesn't care how hard you tried. It cares if you brought the result back to town. Effort is a currency nobody accepts. Pick one target, hunt it down, and don't come back until you have the body. In the movies, the hunt is always a shootout. It is fast. It is exciting. But the reality of the West was different. Tracking wasn't a gunfight. It was weeks of riding in absolute silence. It was staring at the ground, looking for a bent blade of grass or a pile of horse manure. It was cold, it was lonely, and above all, it was boring. They call this the cold trail. And this is exactly where you are going to fail. Usually around month 2, the adrenaline of ghost mode wears off. The dopamine is gone. You are working hard, but you have no results to show for it yet. You feel invisible. You feel like the work is burying you. You need to change your perspective. You are not buried. You are planted. There is a law of nature that the hunter understands. The strongest trees grow their roots deep underground before anyone sees them rise. The height of the tree is determined by the depth of the roots. But because you're addicted to validation, you get impatient. You want to show people your progress. If you dig up a seed every day to check if it is growing, you kill it. You have to let the roots hold in the dark. Now, your brain will fight you on this. It hates the silence. But this isn't just boredom. It is a biological war. Science calls your enemy the default mode network. This is the part of your brain that drifts when you are bored. It brings up doubt. It brings up anxiety. It screams at you to check your phone. It is the voice of the sheriff wanting to go back to town. But the hunter stays on the trail. Researchers at Stanford found that deep, focused attention shuts down this network by 40%. You literally silence the enemy inside your head. When you push through the boredom, you flip the switch. You enter the flow state. Boredom is not a sign to quit. It is the toll you have to pay. The amateur turns back when the trail goes cold. The hunter knows that the gold is waiting at the very end of the silence. Do not dig up the seed. Stay planted and keep writing. How does a hunter move so fast? It isn't because his horse is stronger. It is because his load is lighter. In the West, speed is determined by weight. A horse has a limit. If you overload the saddlebags, the animal tires. If you push it too hard, it dies in the snow. Before a long hunt, a rider performs a saddlebag audit. He dumps everything non-essential on the dirt. You're moving slow because you are carrying too much junk. For the next 6 months, you are allowed 3 things in your saddlebags. We call this the beans, bullets, and blanket rule. Number 1, beans. This is your fuel. You pick one job or one business that keeps the engine running. You don't need a portfolio of income streams right now. You need enough calories to keep hunting. Number 2, bullets. This is your attack, your primary skill. You pick one weapon to sharpen: coding, writing, sales. Number 3, a blanket. This is your recovery. You need sleep. You need the gym. If you freeze, you can't hunt. That is it. Everything else, the Netflix series, the political arguments, the second side hustle, the weekend drama, is dead weight. It might be fun, but it is heavy. And heavy things get left in the dirt. But packing light is only half the battle. You also have to keep moving. There is a rule in tracking. If you stop for a day, the wind covers the tracks. A trail is a living thing. If you take a day off, the sign fades. The target gets further away. You lose the rhythm. You cannot have 0 days. But life will punch you in the mouth. You will get sick. You will get busy. You will be exhausted. This is why you need a storm plan. Most people rely on intensity. They try to do 2 hours of deep work every day. When they get sick, they do 0. 0 kills the hunt. The hunter relies on consistency. When the storm hits, you switch to the storm version. Can't do the full hour? Do 10 minutes. Can't go to the gym? Do push-ups on the floor. Can't write the full chapter? Write 1 paragraph. The goal on a bad day is not progress. The goal is to keep the trail visible. Intensity makes you feel good. Consistency makes you dangerous. Never let the wind cover your tracks. Never stop moving. In the Old West, the most feared trackers weren't the ones who bragged in the papers. They were the Pinkertons. Their motto was simple: we never sleep. Their logo was an unblinking eye. They didn't announce their methods. They didn't tell stories. They just delivered the prisoner. They were feared not because they were loud, but because they were relentless. This is who you are becoming. Imagine the day you return. 6 months from now, you walk back into the saloon. That is your office, your classroom, your friend group. You don't say a word. You don't make a speech about your journey. You just walk in. You look different. You carry yourself differently. There is a weight to you that wasn't there before. You walk up to the table and you throw the body down. The body is the result. It is the bank balance. It is the physique. It is the finished project. The room goes quiet. People won't just be impressed. They will be unnerved. They will look at you and say, "You've changed." They will say, "You're obsessive." They will ask, "Are you okay?" Good. When people are a little bit afraid of your focus, you know you have won. You have finally killed the sheriff who needed applause, and you have become the hunter who demands results. But knowing the philosophy isn't enough. You need the orders. Here is your 6-month combat checklist. Number 1, the gag order. You do not talk about your goals. If you talk, you leak fuel. Silence is the engine. Number 2, the contract. You pick one major target: money, muscle, or mastery. Burn the other posters. Number 3, the saddlebag. You carry only 3 things: fuel, which is your income; bullets, which is your skill; and a blanket, which is your health. Everything else is dead weight. Number 4, the iron rule. No 0 days. If you get sick, you do the storm version. You never let the trail go cold. The contract is open. The horse is saddled. Tell no one. If you are ready to take the contract, go to the comments and write 2 words: ghost mode, and ride.